Yo, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Saeed TV. And we've got a bit of late vibes, man. Late vibes for you lot. Man United talk for you lot in the building. We got a man like Brian with us right now. Brian, what are you saying, brother? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Good weekend. Can't complain. You know, can always think about what Manchester United are doing. So feel good.
Yeah, man. Big up to you, man. We could just about see Estrella. You know what I'm saying to you? The internet is moving mad there, but big up to Estrella. I hope you can see us. You know what I'm saying to you? Estrella, can you hear us, bro? No.
Yeah, I can hear. Can you see me?
Yeah. Just about, bro. Just about. It's a bit yeah. You might even have to come in and out, man. Come in and out. We'll have Adam here. We'll have Ange here. We'll have Omar here. We'll have a couple more guests on. So don't worry, people. But for now, you got a man like me and Elite Pundit here. But we got to start, man. Elite Pundit on the news of Osimhen, man. See, I don't know whether it's got a lot of weight to this, right? But there was some journalist that came out who apparently is meant to be tier 1 in the Turkish kind of area, right? And he said Victor Osimhen wants to join Manchester United. I think there was another news saying that it's like 95% done. But obviously we don't know what that situation is. He's got a release clause. Do you think he's the right answer? Do you think he's the right guy? Or do you think, like, yeah, but what were you saying about Osimhen, like the transfer? Big up to my guy Omar in the building, man. Big up Omar.
My boy. I think maybe a season or two ago, he was really, really hot. Osimhen was doing really well for Napoli, and he was flying. Obviously, he's gone to the Turkish league, so you're a little bit worried if he's coming in with that same like energy and form, because the Premier League has a way of exposing players. But he's better than Højlund. He's better as a striker than Xerxes is, who prefers to play probably behind the striker. So we can't really complain. The position we are at, we really can't complain if we get Osimhen. I don't think he's a perfect signing, but I think he'll score more goals than what we have right now, which is what we need. He's going to be a threat in the air, which we don't have right now. He's going to be a player that will make mistakes. He's going to not be as clean with his touch, you know, but he's a deadly finisher, and he has better ability to find space in the box, and he's smarter, he's more experienced. So I think that's what we need, and he's a bit of a character. We need a little bit of that, a player that's going to come in and kind of like, yeah, I'm going to score goals. I know I can score goals. You know, when you have a young player, sometimes they don't know what they're about, and you've seen that with Højlund, who's kind of lost himself completely. They don't know what to go to. At least with Osimhen, he's built a career. He's played, you know, he's won Serie A. He has something about him. But there's always worry because players tend to flop a lot at Manchester United. I don't know. I don't know. I would say better than what we have. Don't have crazy expectations. That's kind of where I'll be.
Yeah. The thing, you know what it is with Osimhen, right? It's like a couple of years ago, I was raving about him, but like he hasn't been probably the same since. But yeah, he's a goal scorer. He's a finisher. In this United team, you need a lot of service, though, man. You know, I mean, that's what I worry about the most is the lack of service and maybe, you know, time needed for these strikers. But in terms of handling your own pressure, handling your own business, linking up play, holding up the ball, like he can provide you that, man. He can do a lot without a lot, basically. You know what I mean? That's always a good thing. But again, aesthetics wise, positioning, being able to kind of be the right guy, you know what I mean, to reliable goal scorer. Like, there's a lot of question mark because you know what it is with the striker? It's a big position by United, bro. You know, he has got the personality, but is he the guy of the guys that's out there? Do you know what I mean? Like, is he the guy that you look at and think, yo, Gyökeres, you got Sesko, you've got Delap, you've got, who else has he got out there? You know what I mean? There's a couple of strikers out there. Is he the guy, right? You know what I mean? Shout out to Adam in the building. Is he the guy? Is he the guy? You know what I mean? Let's be honest. What are you saying, Adam? You good, bro?
Yes, I'm good, bro. Thank you. I'm sorry for being late, man. Big up, everyone. Sorry.
Big up, man.
We all late. You good?
Yeah, man. What are you saying? What are you saying, Omar, man? What do you like Osimhen? Do you like the profile?
Be honest with you, if you gotta, first of all, shout out to the boys, shout out my boy Brian, shout out my boy Adam, and shout out my brother Estrella. I know I see the biceps, the triceps, and the delts is getting a little bigger. You know what I'm saying? So you got to drop the workout routine in there, my boy, because you getting too aki there, bro. But shout out my boy, he crashed out last week, but he back here healthy. So, you know what I'm saying? My boy is good. He was crashing out hard. But in terms of let's if you break down, because we're looking at Osimhen, right? And not only looking at Victor, we're also looking at Liam. So it's two different types of strikers. Obviously, with Liam, his physical strength is he also has great aerial ability, and he also great work rate and great link-up play. And I love how he positions himself in the box. But when you're gonna compare him to Victor, who's already a proven, he proved that he's an elite striker. You can't really end the pace and power. I would have to go with the likes of Victor because right now it's one of those. I think Liam is a great player, and that's since when he was at City. Since they sent him on loan, whatever, I thought Liam is going to potentially be a top striker. But that's the gamble you're going to have to take. I don't think we're at a point right now we're going to have to keep gambling. You get what I'm saying? Victor has proven on an international level too, and he's versatile amongst that front line. So if I do have to choose, I'm going to have to be like Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen also has a personality that I think would work with United. He has that confidence and that charisma that he brings. He brings a swagger. He brings that Nigel low touch. So personally, I think is if that's something we're linked with, that's what you would have to go for. Because I don't know if you've seen Benny McCarthy also came out and he mentioned how we were looking at Harry Kane and second in command was Victor Osimhen. So if you're looking to take a risk and pull what we just did again, which was let's go get Højlund and let's get Xerxes and take the gamble. If you want to do that, of course, go for the likes of Liam Delap, go for something like that. Even though Liam actually played in the Prem, but you don't know what to expect from Liam in the next 3 years. Let's use that. But Victor, I think he's officially proved that he's capable of doing it. So again, it's personality, charisma. You got to look at everything overall on the pitch, off the pitch. Played for Napoli. I think he did a thing with Napoli too. So
yeah, he did.
Because I think me and Estrella we were speaking about it a couple weeks ago, and I think he's up to something with that. Enough with the taking gambles. I think it's not. I think it's smart to take a gamble when you have an experienced and an actual good leader in that. Now that this is what I'm seeing, someone in more so leadership. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like if you had a Modric on the bench, I'd rather have. Now we could get some young bunks to learn and then if in case you need Modric off the bench, you still have firepower. So I think it's enough with taking these gambles. Like, all right, let's go for Liam Delap. Let's just go get Osimhen. I see people in the chat already.
The chat not feeling it, man. The chat not feeling it. Well, I think a lot of the chat not feeling it. This season has got 14 goals in 19 games.
Chat is weird in terms of they're always gonna look at he played in Turkey, brother. There's nothing wrong with Turkey. Galatasaray actually knocked us out the Champions League. Like, what we talking about?
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
So we can't sit here and undermine the league when the top teams in the league, Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, Besiktas, these teams ball. It's plain and simple. Forget every other team they play. These teams are ball, and it's still a pioneer to European football. So it don't mean so if it's easy to go out there and score, why aren't these other players coming in when there's other players who actually go to Turkey? Why don't they go there and score and do the same numbers?
Yeah. You know what it is? It all depends on what you like in it. Like Estrella, come to you. Like, what do you like in a striker? Like, what do you like? What's your main principles, bro?
Honestly, I feel like they're being disrespectful in the chat. I feel like if Osimhen was from another country, it would be a different thing. Like, bro, the guy was a baller in that, and he's a baller in the Turkish division right now. The thing is with me, I don't see the point about talking a striker when we're in February, we have no cash, and we're talking about spin again. Like, we're going to let go of another 200 members of staff, and we're talking about buying a striker that's going to cost excess of 60 million. Even if you do a swap deal with Rasmus Højlund, you're still in a deficit for PSR. So there's more important things to be talking about than rubbing up your own nose at a striker who clearly is a bagsman compared to what we have right now. We have a striker who everyone's calling crap and he's under 21. We have another striker who's not an actual striker, who's half a striker. But yet you want to rub your nose at the guy who is bagging goals everywhere he goes. Make it make sense. Like, just, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It's one of them where United fans, we've got a lot of PTSD in it with strikers, isn't it? That's a problem, man. A lot of us don't know which one we want. Do we want a young striker in Højlund? Development. I don't know if you guys watched my Straight Jacket podcast, but we were having a big argument about development, you know, in a player. Do you think Man United is a place to develop? Or look, like Omar says, Adam, I'll come to you next. Like, do you get a player that just is ready now? You know, like, you know, who's like maybe Delap is that kind of striker that's ready now, but he's young, but he's done a few loans, he's gone places, he's been there, and now he looks like he's got the minerals to kind of be
if you look
a United player.
My fault for I agree. Delap looks proven, right? But he looks proven at Ipswich. Now you're gonna come to Manchester United and the pressure of Manchester United. You need to have a certain mentality, a certain confidence, and certain things to be there. I'm not saying he could be great. I love Liam Delap, and again, I said it when he was from Tottenham City. But bro, we had Paul Pogba at one point, bro, with the nothing but confidence coming from his highest career at Juve. Like, it's one of those situations where you can't really. He could come and be great, and he could come and be horrible. That's just United for you, honestly. Same thing with Osimhen. If I would have to choose, obviously I'm going to go with Victor, but it could be a graveyard for both. Because it's been nothing but graveyard for everybody that's been coming. Let's be honest. Yeah.
Adam,
you go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, big up Adam, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, you know what? Strikers, there's just not a position that I like to mess about. Like, this is the position that even Sir Alex Ferguson, we never had youth as striking position. We always had quality and experience. Like, you can, like, the spine should be mature. You need one top midfield player in his prime at a good age, striker the same thing, and centre half the same thing. At least one of the centre halves. And striker, just think about it. Say, when's the last time we had an unproven or young, promising striker that led the line to big achievements and big honors? For us, at least.
Wayne Rooney, probably.
Exactly, and still, Wayne Rooney is different gravy. You don't expect Wayne Rooney to come like. And still, we have.
He's generational talent, though. He's generational talent.
Sorry, Adam. Wayne Rooney never came in and led the line. He came in.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying as a striker that came out from young and then kind of, you know, was in that United attack.
Exactly, and he played with Nistelrooy, and Saha was there.
Saha was there. Yeah. You're right.
And Cristiano Ronaldo was there. But then again, we were talking about Rooney and Cristiano Ronaldo. Those players, they come every once in a while.
Was Greenwood. The closest we had was Greenwood and probably Rashford. That was
Greenwood, and Greenwood was generational too.
Yeah, he's Greenwood and probably Rashford
as well. Yeah,
exactly. But we never won anything meaningful without a top striker. We always had a top striker. We look at Van Persie. We didn't buy him when he was a young player. So this is a position that Berbatov. We had Tevez as well. Even 28. Exactly. And the last time we won a trophy, it's weird, but like even the Weghorst thing, you had someone there that could take the heat, even though he's not great. But you need someone with confidence, at least there, so the others can develop. And if the pressure comes onto the experienced guy, he'll deal with it in a better way than the young players. And before that, the last trophy we won was with Zlatan. And Rooney is still in the team in 2016 with 17 with Jose Mourinho. So that position is not something that I like to mess about. I can't lie. So Osimhen,
our last good striker was Lukaku.
Yeah, Lukaku. That's you could say Cavani. Cavani, even though he wasn't always fit, Cavani was one that was good as well. But you could say Lukaku. I agree.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's actually nuts. You're up to something, bro. You're absolutely up to something.
Because just look at the successful teams as well.
Not really, because if you look at the strikers that we have bought, like since Lukaku, like they're stopgaps, so it's not hard. It's not hard when you're doing the comparison. We're buying aging strikers on the back end of their careers. Cavani, you can say for as good as Cavani was, the best type of striker that there is, or best type of player, is availability. He was hardly available. Zlatan as well. After there was games when we wanted to try and press forward or run in behind. That's not Zlatan's game. He was dropping in deeper to get more involved. And he wants someone to get in behind. So it was kind of irritating for when we played certain teams. So like when you're comparing them to the type of stylistic strikers that we want, it's not really a fair comparison. Now we've gone for a young striker. I'm always going to keep beating the drum. We said when we bought Rasmus Højlund, we was going to get a seasoned striker for him to learn over. Whether he's good enough for United, I'm tired of doing this youth thing.
I'm fed up. I hear you.
As potential Delap could be, or as good as even Ferguson could be, or whoever. I want who's 25 to 27 years old, who's got at least 2 to 3 seasons under their belt as a striker up front. I don't want to do this young. I need to stop it. Like honestly, just stop it.
No, you're cooking. Again, last time we spoke, we had our going back and forth, but you always need youth in the project, but you need a youth. It's like, when you put a strawberry next to a rotten strawberry, what happens? The strawberry goes bad, right? That's what's going on now. You're putting these upcoming talents in a team of aging men who are really not that good at this point. Who are mentally checked out. Like, look at Casemiro. Casemiro was, bro, come on, let's be honest. 5 Champions League, yeah, he was in a way better midfield, whatever, but you still need a certain mentality to play at that level. I think he's checked out. He's checked out, brother. He's waiting for some time. He's probably like, yo, I can't do this. Like it's a lot of pressure. So you need a core that's gonna teach. And unfortunately, we do not have a core at this club right now. If we literally look at it, if you look at the defenders, who are the defenders looking up to? Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire. That's your, oh my God, like I'm gonna be them, right? You look at your midfield, looking at Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes, like, oh my God, I want to be them. Now you look forward, you're up top. If I'm Ethan Wheatley, I'm looking at Højlund like, bro, you're food. I'm better than you. It's Ethan not like, Wheatley, I want to be him. I'm looking at Højlund like, bro, I'm better than you. Get him off the field. I'm nice.
Yeah. Well, Cheeto's definitely thinking that right now. Cheeto's definitely thinking that right now.
I know Cheeto looking at him like, yo, this is food. I'm gonna get my call up. These boys are sticking up.
Do you know
this comment, by the way, before you go, Strelly, this comment is serious, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, I mean, they'll all be looking to go get strikers in the summer, Not only just us, even Barcelona, even I think some clubs in Europe that'll be looking for a number
PSG,
9. Like
PSG,
yeah. It's not only us, I've got a feeling Osimhen wants to go to PSG.
You know what's gonna suck, Saeed? Where we land.
Champions League.
Where we finish this year is going to play a big op, because 1, we're not going to have bread, and 2, we're still Manchester United. We're going to still attract talent, but talent still wants to go play ball.
There's 2. I was going to say.
I think it depends. There are certain players that want to go to certain clubs. Like someone like Osimhen might be like he just wants to play for Manchester United. You never know. He's Nigerian, and when I tell you, Man United has a huge influence in Nigeria.
Yeah, in fact. Look at Igalo.
You never know.
Yeah.
It could be something that he's wanted to do, and he's like,
I like Trey.
He played in Galatasaray now, and he's like, you know what? If I still go to United, if I don't do well, it doesn't matter because people know United stink anyway. I can still get my move anywhere else. So he might be willing to take a season and see how it works out. So I don't think it's going to be a huge issue. The issue is if you're going to try and chase players like Isak, it's not going to happen. That's never happening. Gyökeres will be tough. I think Gyökeres might go to Barcelona, if I'm being honest. So, and PSG always seem to target the same players we do. So I think PSG might be the biggest opposition for us for Osimhen if we want to sign a striker.
Yes.
Right. Do you know you need to factor in for the strikers as well? 1, where we finish if we get Champions League football or like Europe football, and the second thing is game time matters. So it's all well and good saying Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea want a striker, but strikers are gonna want to play. So it's all well and good saying, Arsenal want one. What are they gonna do with Jesus? Because when he's fit, you're not gonna spend excess amount of money, and then they're gonna be battling out because a striker's gonna want to make sure, not necessarily guaranteed, because no one's got guaranteed minutes, but they're gonna know they got game time. So if you come United, you know for a fact you'll definitely play him. Now it's just a matter of if we're in Europe or not.
I know getting the bag too. Man United will still pay a decent wage to a good striker if they can get one.
There was a comment that went past that saying something I should wake up. Apparently, Ineos, this is Ineos's plan or whatever. Again, like I said.
You know what? Young strikers, they want a young core team,
This is the problem with Arsenal, why they won't win the league. They don't have any world-class players. You can't win stuff with youth. In the last 5 years in the Premier League, you can't name me any team that built a foundation with youth and managed to win something.
Yeah.
Man City, that have dominated. They've got world-class players in almost every single position. And Liverpool, they have arguably world-class players, not in every position, but they do have seasoned world vets. You can't build and say you want to win the league in the next 3 to 5 years by building youth.
Nah.
The funny thing is, and this is how you not you lot, but the fan base gets sucked in. Pause. It's like you get roped in by hearing this. We're building for the future. What do you think? We're 14th in the league or wherever we are. What do you think the teams at the top 6, 8 teams are doing? You think they're just gonna stand there and sit by and be like, "Oh, let's wait for United to get this together"? What do you think they're doing right now?
They're planning.
Adam, I know you're from Canada, man. Jonathan David, man, free option. Is he one? He's 25, I think. In that age bracket.
Me,
is he good enough?
Not for me, to be honest. Like, because this is Manchester United. Like,
it is, but we're not acting like that, though.
Exactly, but like I told you, I think it was this week or this weekend. It's just we need to act like Manchester United if we want others to treat us like United. Like, it starts with us. We need to start respecting ourselves if we want the others to give us the respect we think we deserve. So if we start behaving like a small team, they treat us just the same way. So, and no offense to David or whatever, but we should be looking at the very best talents in every position. And if we can't spend that money now, we need to find a way. Scout the proper talents, make a stopgap signing here and there that we know can give us quality for short term until we get someone else. But no, not for me, man. Not for me. It's because how old is he? Is he 25?
Yeah, he's about 25 now.
So he's not old, he's not young, and he's not great. So he just is right in the middle of everything.
Yeah, he's 25. Just bought January 25, turned 25.
And Canada's biggest problem in the last few world national team competitions. Like,
how many goals he got this year, Jonathan David? This year he's got 12 goals in 21. Last year, 19 goals in 34. The year before that, 24 in 37. Year before that, 15 in 38. Year before that, 13 in 37. He's not doing too bad, guys. Again, for me, I look at his overall play. I don't really rank his overall play. You know what I mean? That's my issue with Jonathan.
We have Xerxes. We have Xerxes for that. We have that profile already.
Exactly.
So we need people who can put the ball in the back of the net. So that's why, like, Osimhen. If we didn't have Xerxes, I'd be like, Osimhen does he? I don't know. I'll be a little bit worried, but we can change it up. We can play Xerxes up front if you really want that link. That person is gonna. No one is gonna. You're gonna be find it very hard to find a player that links better than Xerxes anyway. If I'm being honest with you,
a good
job of it. So get other profiles. If you can get other profiles, I would love a winger that can play centrally. So, someone that can, like, play in those one of those 10 positions, which is why I still kind of want Cunha. He can play centrally. If we really have like an injury situation, right, and you need someone to play down the middle, and your strikers around, Cunha can do that too. So it's not just buying the strikers, other things around the striker that I think matters as well. If you get Cunha, if you get Osimhen, I think you can go into a season and your team will definitely score more goals.
Yeah. Just in terms of striker, man, the manager has been speaking about Højlund. He's been saying a few words. He said, "I think it's clear we as a team aren't helping Rasmus. We don't create a lot of chances. We have a lack of threat, and you can feel it in the game. Sometimes we are in that final third, but you don't feel like we are a very dangerous team. So I have this feeling we are not helping the strikers. I think Rasmus has a lot of potential. If we improve the way we play, he will have more opportunities to score." And then he said here, we have to look at Rasmus as a player. He has the pace, he has the technique. He scores some goals that are really hard to score. Sometimes he doesn't choose the better run. Sometimes he's so anxious to touch the ball and he moves away from the goal. We addressed that in training, but sometimes it is the confidence of the player. Ange, I'll let you dissect that one, man. What do you think of what you just said there about Højlund, man? That point there is a big one, man. We address it in training, but sometimes it's a confidence as a player. Ange, what are you saying? Can you hear us, Ange?
Yeah, he's.
Can you hear me, Ange?
Hello?
You're cutting, mate.
Yeah,
you
you're
can
cutting
hear
out.
me?
Yeah, no,
can hear you
now
now.
can hear you. Now can hear you. Go on.
Am I cutting out?
No, you're good. You're
sounds
good now.
good.
You're good.
You on the news?
thing is,
You know when you're on the news?
I was-
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. So, I was reading a Varane's interview in the Athletic. I don't know if any of you guys saw that a few weeks
Yep.
back or last week. It was a good interview actually. But one of the things he said is, when I came to Madrid as an 18, 19-year-old, because there was experienced players everywhere, there was no pressure for me to perform. I came in, I learned, I made mistakes, I learned how to be professional, and then eventually I became a mainstay in the first team. And one of the issues that we have is that we bring in these young players. He was like Rasmus Højlund, who'd played half a season. He wasn't even a consistent starter at his previous team, and now he's expected to lead the line for Manchester United. And if you don't perform, the criticism is heavy. You know, you get criticized from other players, you get criticized from the fans, and you can see whatever we think of Rasmus is he's become a worse player in the last 12 months. Has he not?
Yeah.
If he's become whatever you think he's not good enough, and I might agree with a lot of those people, is our development or the way we've developed him, because we've asked him to lead the line, to score goals and to do all those things, instead of him just trying to improve his game every week and, you know, build up his confidence and all those, he's never had the chance to do that. And what's happened is his confidence is down and he's just not improved as a player. He's not learnt from anybody telling him, these are the tricks of the trade. This is what you have to do. When you play Everton, this is what they like to do. And I've played them 4 or 5 times, and you have to learn how to do this. And when you play this team, you do this. And, you know, when you have a poor game, all right, just go back and watch this tape and do this. Like there's no methodology to our development of young players, because we bring them in at such a young age and then we expect them to perform. And that's just, we're throwing him to the lamb. You know, we're throwing him to the wolves. We're throwing him to the wolves. And and that's why I agree. We need to bring somebody experienced in. With the talk, I'll be honest, I'm not an Osimhen fan. I just don't think he's technically, I like my strikers that can get involved in the play, but are also deadly in the box. And obviously they're really hard to find players like that. But Osimhen, to me, like I never liked watching Lukaku play football. I just don't enjoy that type of striker. I like him at least competent on the ball and also a little bit deadly in the box. So and they're really hard to find. And if you think about somebody like, if you think about how much we've spent on Xerxes and Højlund, that's over 120 million pounds we've spent on those 2 players. It's crazy. It was so, you know what I mean? You'd rather spend a lot of money and get the right person in versus I'll spend 30 here, I'll spend 50 here, and then not get anybody in that that can even lead the line. So, yeah.
I think we will probably end up selling Højlund, if I'm being totally honest with you. I think it's gonna be there's some players that get so broken when they don't perform at a big club. It's best for them to go somewhere else. And the way he's performing this season, it just looks like he needs completely very minimal amount of pressure, and he needs fans that will sing his name and cheer for him.
Yeah, well, that's
no matter what.
It's
not going to happen at Man United. The pressure level is too high. So for me, I think we'll sell him and get some of that money back. I think, and to be honest, I think there are clubs that will try and get him, if I'm being honest with you, because they won't. Obviously, they will look at his record at United, but they will look at more so his record before United, and look at other things he did for Denmark and stuff, and see. And
how much can you get for him? You think?
I think we can get
getting what you got.
40. You know, obviously not, but I think we can get 35 to 40 million pounds.
Yeah, 35 to 40. Yeah.
Right. And I just add really quickly, you see how you're saying he should leave to regain confidence and stuff. If you recall, me and you was on the same stream when everyone was calling Anthony, he's dead. And I said, why would you sell an asset just because you feel? Remember, you get the emotional attachment away. The guy is only 20 years old. Loan him out. let's see if he does well because he's still young, and then try and recoup your bread back. This is the same.
We need the money though. We need the money. We don't have a loan.
This will be the same thing that will and I promise you, I'm not that so raving I can see into the future, but I've just seen so many instances of it happen that he will go somewhere else, maybe exceed like everyone else is exceeding when they leave United. The pressure's not on. He does well. We don't recruit. We get a dead striker, and everyone goes, "Oh, why did we get rid of him?" So it's just like.
That's not down to the fan base.
To be honest, Estrella, the way people speak about Højlund, I'd rather see that happen so that we can learn something as a fan base. Because United fans don't learn until something happens. Then they're like, "Oh, yeah," but I don't know. That's why I don't mind. Like,
so how are you supposed to judge a player then, isn't it? Like, can we not just say,
crazy?
Are we never going to say to a player he's not great because he hasn't left United on loan and we haven't seen him at another club? We bought him from that club.
You need to know why a player struggles. I said this about Rashford for a long time.
Everyone, I could do that for every single player. Every single player.
That's the reality of where we are as a club. We don't have a good environment to train young players. And I said this about Rashford. We made him the star of the show at Manchester United. We gave him number 10. And he was never good enough to be that player. Do you understand the level of player that's won number 10 for Manchester United? It's crazy. So for a fan who grew up watching Wayne Rooney, it's like it's just not gonna be. You're never gonna reach that fan, especially when you see Rooney, even with that level of talent, the level of effort was probably even more, than the talent as well. It's crazy.
I've never got this argument for you, bro. This argument that you've made that Rashford has a lot of ability. It's the mental stuff that's the problem.
I don't think he has.
He's up and down mentally. He gets affected by the.
I don't think he has a lot of ability.
Sorry?
I think that like the first premise is all wrong. I don't think he has a lot of ability. I think that ability has been overhyped.
No, I couldn't disagree more. And so even I've heard you make this argument as well. I couldn't disagree. So, like, is he the most like the smartest player, or is he the most creative player? A lot of those things, no, but he has got one of the best, like, powerful shots of any player that we've had in the last 10 years. Any player in the Premier League. Yeah, he's quick. He can beat a man. And when if you look at, but what happens is, so let me finish. He's even at England training, they ask who the best, one of the best. Am I cutting off?
Yeah. Come in and out. Come in and out. It's just a delay. Come in and out if you can.
Okay, I'll come in and out. Sorry.
Just to answer, just to talk on Anne's point. Players, when it comes to judging other players, they don't judge it like fans do. They're a lot less critical, right? Because see, what's his name? James Maddison. Was it James Maddison that was talking about Bruno Fernandes saying, or was it Odegaard that was talking about who are the best number 10s in the Premier League? And he mentioned Bruno.
KDB.
And KDB and whatnot. So Bruno and KDB, in terms of player levels, are completely different. Like in terms of what they can do on the pitch, completely different. But you will see someone like Odegaard will respect what Bruno does. But someone like us that's actually a fan, and we're a lot more critical, we're a lot harsher because we support the club as a fan, not as a player. It's different. Players will respect the pressures, the struggles, everything that the player needs to go through. They'll see all that and they'll wait into their analysis when they're judging a player, right? But for us, it's different. So when people always throw up quotes, I'm like, this player said this and this player said that. I'm like, I don't really put that much huge stock in it, especially when it comes to Rashford, because they judge it and like, oh, but Rashford did this at this age and he scored this amount of goals and he did this. But I'm like, guys, his level of talent, he's not Mbappe. Fans try to put him on Mbappe level, and that's not good because then you have Mbappe expectations. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's all I'm saying. You can't have Mbappe level expectations for a player like Rashford. The kind of expectations I've had for Rashford would be like Nani. He come into the team, does really well, goes out of the team for like 5-7 games. Bring him in, like that kind of level of talent, and then you have other players that will go and perform on a consistent basis.
So you don't even see him as a regular starter?
No.
Not a chance, man. No. If you have aspirations for Man United, you can't have Rashford starting.
Adam, do you remember that one season when
no, so but the thing is,
I was going to say, remember that season when Nani scored that Rabona against Arsenal?
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
that whole season? That's probably he had a purple patch. That was like his best season. I would compare that to Rashford's 30-goal season. What Brian just said, summed up in a nutshell, yeah, is essentially Rashford is like a nanny. He has hot and cold spells, but majority of it will be cold spells. He might have the odd game where he makes a difference, but throughout the course of a season, you cannot rely on him.
And it's not good. It's not good for him. It's not good for him because you can see he looked like as if he was in pain playing for us. He looked like he didn't want to do it. Now everyone wants to do the whole revisionism thing, right? And want to ignore those 2 years that he struggled. But at the end of the day, I just want to bring it back to the Højlund discussion because again, Rashford is way more talented than Højlund, and Højlund is struggling way more. Again, we do these things like if you a good player that has more talent is struggling at United, what do you expect a player that you think is bad will do?
Problem with Rashford, I don't think the problem with Rashford is confidence or talent, or it's talent, but he's been lied to by everyone in his environment and in the club to believe something that he isn't. So he just started believing it. He doesn't have one person next to him that tells him the truth. So of course he's going to believe in his own greatness, but that greatness was never there. If you tell me Rashford is wearing the number 19 and he's part of the squad and part of the team and he comes on and he comes off, fine by me. If you tell me he's the face of the club and we're a finished club, like there's no in between.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. But the thing is, so even that season when he was playing for a contract, he's paying for the biggest contract of his life. It was going to earn him somewhere close to £100 million over the next 5 years. There was, like, if you looked at his Instagram at the time, if you looked at it was always about, after every game, he'd post pictures of him in a recovery, one of those ice bath recoveries or in a recovery machine. Like, his professionalism was out of this world. And
I don't think
it was him. And if you think about that,
I don't think it was because we've had
So that season,
and I know we've had credible
reports.
We've had credible reports from Ole's time that they all had the problem with Rashford's discipline and work ethic. No.
So that's not. So the point is, I agree with you, but the point I'm making is that season when he was playing for that 5-year contract. I'm talking about Ten Hag's first season.
You're saying he was locked in
22-23. Yeah.
So that season when he's playing. So if you look at him, he knew what was on the line. It was £100 million. That was on the line. So his professionalism, his recovery after every game was perfect. He'd post pictures. I'm like, this is crazy. And he's performing every week for especially after the World Cup. He was performing every week. And then as soon as that stopped, as soon as he got that contract,
this is my thing. I went back to those games. I watched them carefully, and I looked back at the stats. Rashford scored goals. Rashford did not play well.
No, I'm not saying he did. I'm not saying so. I'm not even saying he did, but I'm saying that he had an impact in those games. Did he not? He had an impact. A lot of those games he had an impact.
And that impact coincided with Weghorst in the team because he did not score any goal before the end of November, the start of December, and he did not score any goals after the end of February and March when Martial came back in the team.
What's the argument you're making that he only scored goals because Weghorst was in the team? Is that the argument that you're making?
My point is not entirely that, but my point is Rashford scored goals in a very specific configuration that allowed him to
3 months. It was 3 months,
If you remove that setup, he's a very, very average is flattering. He's a bit below average when it comes to raw ability. So
Weghorst done a lot of running for Rashford. I think you need to understand and go back and watch that period.
Yeah, but
I'm not going to be disillusioned here, and I want you to finish off the point when you was replying to Adam. You said something about you think Rashford has the ability. Before I continue, I want to hear you finish off what you was going to say before you jumped off the stream.
Yeah, we were before you cut off.
So the thing is, if you they interviewed the English players. Do you know when they do the have you seen those YouTube videos when they video the English players? They go, who's one of the best players in training? They asked them. Bellingham, and they also, a lot of them, like 90% of them said Rashford. So my view on Rashford is he's not a perfect player. Sometimes I think he's a dumb player. He makes dumb decisions. So my view on Rashford is that he has ability, but his two big issues is that, and part of ability, and I'm admitting this, part of having ability
I agree.
is the mental aspect of the game.
Aspect.
Part of it is the mental, 100%. Like, so if he faces any difficulties in a game, he drops his head automatically. If anybody challenges him in a game, he drops. So mentally, he's not strong enough to play for Manchester United. That's one of them. And then the second one is that he was never like he didn't commit himself. He wasn't a good professional. So if you combine those two, he does look like a really average player and a poor player.
But you know what?
But I'm saying,
you know what, Ange, and you can call me cynical, but like I'm Moroccan, I can smell fuckeries, and like I can smell it. I swear to God. And the thing is, we are talking about practice. Those players that are not United players are good friend of Rashford. And the players at United, if you look and you listen to what they say, because Matic said Rashford was the best in training, Ahmad said he was the best in training. You look at players like Ahmad and Matic, and I think even Donny van de Beek said something like that. It's
Scott McTominay said, "Who's the best player? Who's the most talented player you played with?" And he said Rashford. Scott McTominay said this. This was because everybody that comes to everybody that comes to Manchester United,
from inside the club, from inside the
everybody
club.
that comes to new players that we signed, they're all amazed. And if you remember, what did Casemiro say? What did Casemiro say? That season where he scored 30 goals, Casemiro said Rashford is the top 5 player in the world.
Exactly.
And he came from Madrid.
Just my point. I was telling you, the English players that are not at United, for example, like you said, Bellingham and this and that, most of them are good friends with Rashford. There's something there. And the players at United, like Casemiro, like Matic, like Ahmad, there is no way in hell that those players, if you consider how they assess other players, who they played with, there is not a single chance that they think Rashford is how they described him. If you look at Ahmad picked Messi over Cristiano Ronaldo, and when I know they did that sort of trivia thing where they pick this player or that player, and you look at the players that Ahmad picked, there is not a single chance that guy rates Rashford. From the club, and this is why it's on the club and probably not even on Rashford, he's been pushed and gassed to a level that he does not deserve. He is in conversation.
This is blasphemy. This is blasphemy.
No, this is what I told you.
No, it's not. It's not because this is the problem, right? The Rashford discussion, and part of the reason why I talked about it is because it goes back to United's problem of managing youth players.
Managing youth players.
Højlund, you go to Højlund, you see even people get upset when Euro doesn't play every game. I'm like, Euro is not supposed to play every game. Højlund is not supposed to play every game. Rashford was not supposed to play every game. Mainu are doing the same thing to Kobe Mainu. Look how many injuries he has at this age. Like we I don't know. You know why
though? Because they see it as a savior, innit? They see it as the guy that's gonna,
not even I told you so. Like this is I have no pleasure in going. I said this. It's like the blind should be able to even see this. Like, what was you expecting?
Exactly. Like the way Kobe Mainu's career is going, I'm not happy with it.
It's very. I don't.
So is your argument?
I'm concerned.
Is your argument? Is your argument? Every player that gassed up Rashford.
I want to try and move on from Rashford, right? Because obviously we don't want to make
not even the last thing I want to do.
Rashford. Let's move on.
I think for me, it's a greater question that I think Brian was alluding to there, like as in talent coming to United and whether you give them time or not. I think right now you look at Osimhen, you look at these guys in there, maybe their prime. Go and get these guys. You know what I mean? Cunha in their prime now. Go and get him. You know what I'm saying? To go and get these guys that are doing it right now. The young players you could merge in, but not to be the main guy. You know what I'm saying? So let's see, man. We have got a new well, it's been appointed permanently. Christopher Vivell. You know, I don't know if you see the news today. Christopher Vivell will be on a permanent basis as the what's it again? Football in recruitment. It will be permanent. Director of recruitment, 38-year-old, signs multi-year deal on reduced wage. Underlines desire to play key role at Man United over long term. Will lead global recruitment, scouting, and structure emerging talent, man. So man like Vivell, which we kind of knew in it, Brian, that he was going to take the role kind of long term. It was just a case of maybe got to prove yourself and then do it. But yeah, man, are you happy with this? Is this a bit of good news that we needed, or what are you saying?
We'll see. Some of the players he signed, I think maybe he had a hand. I don't think he had a full hand in bringing in Kone. I think he had a hand in. Maybe he stagnated some English players like Obi, Chido as well, and Haven as well. So we'll see what these players do for the squad. But we've talked about, we can't just rely on just emerging talent. We need to bring in some serious players. So that's where I'm looking at our technical director to really, come in. I thought we'd have a director of football as well. It doesn't look like as if we're gonna have one for the summer, so we'll see. But emerging talent is great. It's hard for me to talk about it because again, it's more hopium. It doesn't do much for me. I know there's people who are very dedicated to the youth team and they watch Manchester United, they watch all these young players. I don't have as much time to commit into watching them. But I can't there's no for me, the senior data, I can't use that to judge, okay, if I put Chido into the team for next season, he's going to do X. I don't know that. If you go sign some young player somewhere in South America, I like the young left back that we brought in, I don't know much about him outside of the fact that he looks like a good physical profile. So I can't judge him, so to speak, as much.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, emerging talent is great, but we need senior players. It's a good appointment. I don't think he's bad at his job. I think he does his job well. I just don't know. I just don't think it's the end all be all for us. I think we need a director of football that's going to sign us proper top players.
Yeah, because you know what? The best time to plan for the future is when the team is already strong.
Yeah.
Because the future, it's the convenient thing about the future is the time is never now. So you can build for the future all your life. But when you come to football, you need to win at some point, especially at Man United. So it's good. I think it's encouraging. But if we have a successful, good team with very, very good players, very much easier to get top talent in and to build it. When you have a good team, you can take risk. Like now, we need this is why we find ourselves in this situation. We need top quality for cheap that is risk free, because we are shocking and we don't have a squad. That's the reason why.
Yeah, I know. Like Adam, I get people like young players, but Manchester United is just so different. It's almost unfair. We're almost paying for our success, right? Because you're going to be judged very differently. 100%. Brighton can go sign some young South American and for like 10 games they might play poorly. Then the next 5 they'll play well. Like that pressure is not there. Yeah. But Manchester United, even players like Casemiro get judged to like insanely high levels, right? Wasn't it TalkSport? They called Casemiro a steady Eddie and all this stuff.
Yeah, so but they haven't got a clue though.
But that's what I'm saying. No, but that kind of stuff, if you're a player, you see it.
They were right.
It's not good. You want when Man United sign a player, they're like, this guy is top class. Like this guy is gonna do well. Like when's the last player that we signed that we're like, yeah, this guy's gonna kill it? Like there's no ifs, buts, and maybes. Who's the last guy that we signed that we're like, yeah?
The ones that actually worked out great and we won with them.
I think it was Graham. Right, I think it was Graham Souness.
It was Graham Souness. But I'm just saying, overall,
a broken clock is right 2 times a day. That's what I got to say. Like you can spite as much as you want, but it doesn't really matter. Like,
sorry,
you think about it, like Casemiro.
What are you talking about?
I think he was heavily disrespected because the same way they're talking about Casemiro and the same way they talk about Anthony, you don't hear them dare talk a word about Jack Grealish when he's been crap for a whole year.
But this is what I mean. This is what I mean, Estrella.
No,
United are almost judged unfairly for our success.
No one's gone harder on Jack Grealish. No one's gone harder on Jack Grealish than Graham Souness. I listen to him all the time. He goes, I just don't rate him.
And when did they all start getting onto him? Same thing with Rashford. You got to think about when they were all calling Anthony crap every single week. Yeah, my man had the same.
It's a price. Yeah, I get what you mean. You know what it is when you play for a good team. No, but what happens is when you're winning, you don't really criticize it as much, and that's the issue. You know what I mean? When you're winning, you know what I mean. It gets brushed under the carpet. The problem with United is we haven't been winning as much and with major trophies as well.
Exactly. Another thing, the British media are very, very vicious when they see a serial winner come into the country.
Yeah.
Because if that person storms the Premier League, it discredits the Premier League. Like you can see all the time. Like Varane was not getting his respect. Casemiro, I was against signing Casemiro in the first place. He's not my type of player, but Casemiro
So the media was right. Graham Souness was right. So
no, he wasn't right. He wasn't right. He wasn't right because his assessment was not correct. Casemiro
what was his sentiment? Where's he wrong? What was his sentiment? Where is he wrong?
Casemiro is not good on the ball, but Casemiro is one of the best midfield defensive central players we've seen in the last 10, 15 years. because his understanding and reading of the game and reading of both trajectories and communication is, if you try to play with the ball and be a possession team, he's not your guy. I was not in favor of signing Casemiro. But if you have a defensive setup, you can't ask for much better than Casemiro. It's just at that point, it's a matter of preference.
That's fair.
Yeah,
but this is what I mean, though. For Manchester United, what we
he wasn't a great
on,
midfielder.
Our level of success and the kind of players that we're used to with Carrick and Scholes and whatnot, the spending that amount of money on Casemiro was always not going to work out. Number one.
Yeah, true.
And you're inviting again the viciousness of the media. We're already going to get it unfair. No, they hate us. They hate Manchester United. So you're already going to get it unfair. That price tag on a player like that, even though he's achieved huge things at Real Madrid, the moment he has a stinker, they're going to be on his back. And people think that this thing doesn't affect players. I disagree. It does affect players. It affects players. The level of criticism. It does. Amorim just talked about it right now. I just saw a headline pop up on my phone on ESPN. He says he believes outside criticism of his players is taking a toll and is hampering their ability to perform. It plays a part.
Yeah, but you know what, Ange? Just going back, I'm sorry. You can't tell me that Rashford is talented and tell me Casemiro is one of the midfield greats of the last 15 years. I describe the profile of player that Casemiro is, and you can't really argue with that.
Yeah, his profile is steady Eddie. That is actually the perfect description for what a steady Eddie
would be more like Declan Rice. But what
doesn't mean you're poor. Steady Eddie doesn't mean you're poor. Steady Eddie means that you're competent. He's a competent player.
He's not somebody Champions League winner. Like, this is more.
Yeah,
there is more to it than competence.
And he's a 5-time Champions League winner because he played with Cristiano Ronaldo, Luka Modric, Toni Kroos. That's why he's a 5-time Champions League winner.
He played.
And first 6 months, isn't it, man?
He was an important cog.
He was an important cog
because to describe him as anything more than steady Eddie is, I think, is denying reality. I don't think it's
no.
He was a world-class player in his position.
No, hold on. You're treating it as if they had 11 places and there was one spot left, and that was Casemiro's, and not the midfield player.
So what I said is he's an important cog, but he's not a player that you spend $70 million. Like, you spend that much money on a Luka Modric, on a Toni Kroos, players that can make a difference in a game, change the game. He's not a difference maker. Yeah, he's a really good defensive midfielder.
Just like I told you, it depends on your setup. If your setup suits him, he's a difference maker. And look, Ange, I was not in favor of signing Casemiro. I was telling Saeed, do not get him. I was very, very aware of his flaws. I criticized him when he was at Madrid.
That's the first thing Jim Ratcliffe said. That's when he came to visit United. He goes, "This is one of the worst deals in Manchester United history." He told him this is before he bought the club.
350k after one good season.
You don't give a defensive midfielder 350k, bro.
I don't want to die on this hill about because both those players need to go. What we need to talk about is what a certain man came on this channel and said I was crazy about. We're going to go into the next season with the same guy in the back six. Or we're not going to talk about the goalkeeper. Because
you know what? I think we're going to disagree on this.
When we say we need a striker, we need this, we need that, yeah. But if we're still going to go into a new season with the old problems, don't expect a different result.
I want to say this right now. At first, I didn't think it was a big issue.
Yeah,
right. I didn't think it was as big as issue as Estrella was making out to be. I stand corrected. I think Onana is a massive problem. He is. Oh my God! You guys know that game, Flappy Bird? That's what Onana is. My goodness, the dude.
That game was cold, man.
He makes the goal look so big, and he flaps at everything. Like, I think he puts pressure. Like, our defense is already very nervous, right? I think he adds to it. Like, he doesn't bring any sense of calm.
I'll just say this for the record. I don't believe he's one of the top priorities, but I will, if I am proven wrong, I will absolutely accept it. Because from what I saw, I thought that last week, Saeed, we saw it at Ajax and we saw it at Inter Milan. You can reach very, very high levels with him in goals. And I don't think you can do that with Dalot. I don't think we can do that with Bruno. I don't think we can do that with Rasmus and all of those players. However, I hear the criticism. I cannot argue with it.
I can't defend him anymore because we signed him for his kicking, and his kicking is terrible. Like, the one thing we signed you for, if if he was giving me at least the goal, like proper goal kicks, I'll be like, okay, at least there's something. Like there's nothing I can take from him because I can't. Like I can't with him going next season. I would go back and get the young kid Kova that we had from our academy and play him instead. That's how worried I am about Onana.
Brian, do you know what it is? I played centre back, so I'm telling you this from a place of endurance. I'm telling you, it's like if your team's already dead, yeah, or you've got low in confidence, yeah, and as a defender, when you know your keeper is a weak link and you cannot trust him, you end up playing even deeper. Like
I agree.
End up dropping all back here to try and subsidize his errors, and then when he's on the ball, you take up certain positions because you might not be as wide. You might come a little bit acute angles to compensate for this guy's stupid errors. So it's like if there's more confidence coming from the goalkeeper, naturally the backline might start to play a little bit higher up. They might start to demand the ball off him a bit more. But they know the goalkeeper,
I agree.
It's cooking.
They don't want it. And then that's when it starts. It's a snowball effect. And
but you know what? That all of that is true if you remove Maguire from the equation. If you have Maguire in there, I'm sorry.
God, I cannot do another season with Harry Maguire.
You are.
No. This cannot happen.
So slow on the weekend.
Cannot happen. Jesus, he runs slower than me. I bet you I can run faster than Maguire. He's Have you seen him trying to catch someone? Like he looks like someone like he has an ankle tailored to his ass. He moves so slow.
It's ridiculous.
Brian, you say that, but out of all the defenders we have now, I never thought I'd say this. I would prefer him to be playing in the 3 out of all of them.
No way, bro. No.
I've seen De Ligt do it. He doesn't fill me with confidence. Yoro's too young to do it, and I don't know who else is going to do it. Maswari, he's not an actual centre back.
It's De Ligt. In the middle, it's De Ligt.
De Ligt can't do it, man. I'll be real with you, man. De Ligt isn't the guy that you think he is, man. In terms of playing out from the back, man. I think he's a good defender.
Other side, he cannot be in the centre. He cannot be in this. I'm telling you.
We need to go sign someone. That's what we need to, because both are terrible.
Who's a central defender though? Who's a good central one?
I'm putting De Ligt in the middle. I can't lie.
No, I can't.
Because Maguire is slow, like physically slow, and his decision making is slow. Do you know how slow that is when you got both?
Wait. By the way, this is not me advocating for Harry Maguire to stay. I'm talking about right now. I said sell him. That's why we extended his contract to try and get some peas in the summer. That's the only feasible reason I think we extended his contract. I'm telling you now, Saeed, you already know I do not like or rate this guy. I've been saying since when you were saying Harry Beckenbauer. He's the white hush puppy.
Why you have to remind people, man?
No, sorry. I'm just saying white hush puppy, innit? Like, brother, the guy's a fraudster.
The first 2 seasons, man, he was good, man.
But you know what? And the De Ligt thing, I like De Ligt. I don't mind. I think he's good.
I don't mind having De Ligt in the team as a backup centre back. I think as a backup centre back, De Ligt is probably one of the best you can have in the league. Yeah, really good.
Even though I think he's proper. I can't lie.
But in terms of that
under pressure, he's very, very. I don't know, limited, man. Sometimes I feel like when he's under pressure and he's getting pressed here, he's a bit nervous on the ball. You know what I mean? But in terms of box defending, he can do your job. Like he can, what I'm saying, bro.
Adjustment period as well, Saeed. Obviously, he's not played in the Premier League before.
Yeah, he's adapted now. He's not the biggest problem, but there are a few concerns that I've got.
And he's a centre half. Like, is he much worse on the ball than Vidic was? Like centre halves when
don't do that. Adam,
what I'm trying to say is centre halves, when they get pressed, they make mistakes because the mistakes are costly for a centre half. If a striker does that mistake, it doesn't lead to a goal. If a centre half does, it leads to like at least a chance. Like centre halves are most often than not under pressure when they are getting pressed. When they have the ball, of course they are. So I don't think it's a fair. Like it's fair, but it's harsh. Let's put it that way.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I think on the ball they're comparable. What Maguire does have is that he has that cross-field pass that he can make if he has time, right? And he doesn't know if he has lots of time. Like when we were playing against Leicester, and we had they sat back, and he has time to find that pass. He will find that pass, but no team is going to give you Man United time.
If the player is Garnacho, because he needs time as well, because the defense just said, you know what, just let him have it.
I was just about to say, man, that pass, that diagonal pass, yeah, it looks good for cameras. But what you need to understand, when you do that as a centre back, I'm telling you from playing this position, when you do those deep dives, yeah, he doesn't drive the ball. He actually.
It's very lofty.
Facts.
They tell you this in training. If you pass it along the floor, it's gonna go to a player in like what, less than 2-3 seconds. If you loft it, the defender can change their body angle and then close down the angle before it even comes down to the player. So by you doing a diagonal, it's not always the right thing. It looks good for cameras, yeah, but by the time the player's got the ball, someone's already on him. Or the second option for when the player brings it down is already gone. And that's what I don't like about him. That's why I said I would rather have a centre back who's more physical and he's got speed behind it. It makes it picks up the pace behind at the back when we're trying to attack.
Diamande might be the one we get from Sporting, not even Gyökeres. Diamande, the kid.
Diamande.
And I hope we buy players we know
Brian,
we assess as good.
Brian and Saeed, especially you two, you guys were defending the delete signing like crazy for months.
No, I'm not saying.
Months.
I'm not saying.
Where's the accountability? Where's the accountability?
I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying like we signed him to play a specific position, right?
Yeah.
And that was, I didn't mind it because we signed Euro. We signed Euro to be the future of, in the centre back position for us. So if you have deletes that's coming in and being backup, it's not an issue. The problem is Martinez is injured. Yeah. And Maguire is crap. Again, you can't put everything on delete.
He's on like £200,000.
Yeah, he's on big money.
Like I'm not watching delete. Performances are like
he's almost
horrible.
Like, he's what kind of back? Wait, Brian, what kind of backup are you spending £200,000 a week on? How does that make sense in your brain that you spend £200,000 a week on a backup? You've made the argument from day one that he's a backup. That's the argument, that he's not supposed to start. He's a backup. That's the argument you made, Brian. How do you square his salary? Wait, how do you square his salary in your mind with being a backup? How does that, in an era of FFP and all these constraints, how does that make sense to you?
Not £200,000 a week.
It's a delete.
Delete, yeah. 190, you think he's on?
I think you have to have a squad to go win the Premier League, right? And you need a certain level of experience. We like the experience in centre back. Were there other players you could go on and sign? Sure. But for the amount of money we paid, which is not as much as you think when it comes to centre back, it's not an issue. If we went and if we didn't sign Euro, I would have been more concerned. But we signed one of the most promising young players in world football in centre back with Euro. That was for me the balancing, right? Because
personally, I think
Euro is going to need to come in and out of the squad, and we need a player that's going to be ready to play. Like we don't need another young player. That's for me. That's what I was thinking. Like Dele to play more. But obviously, we've changed system. That's meaning that we need to play a little bit more of our centre backs, and the demands of the position mean that they need to play out of the back a lot more. With Ten Hag, it was a little bit different because, like I said, we had Martinez. I was thinking with Martinez in the team, you have Dele. They have at least they play Ten Hag system. So that's what I was looking at more so. So the circumstances have changed now. So we're going to have to now sign another center. I think we needed to sign another center back anyway because Lindelof was going. And I think Maguire is going to go as well.
And you can't rely on Lisandro. I don't know you lot, but I don't think I can trust Lisandro anymore. This injury record is a lot, man. It's a big concern, man. Lisandro. I think he's had like every sort of injury: Achilles, ankle, knee. Well, how many like he's had a lot of injuries to his body, man. Like I don't know, man, if he's going to be ever the same player anymore, man. In terms of his body and his recovery, like you got to feel for him, man. So that one day you have to be careful. He won't be back at least till the end of the year. Possibly, So
personally, going back to Delete, I think Delete is a good centre half. I think it's.
I don't think he's bad at all. I'm just saying, like, he's not. What we need from him is someone that if we're just box defending a lot, I don't think Delete would be a bad signing. But you need the right centre back around him, who's going to partner him. When you play Delete and Maguire together, I think that's just not going to work. So we need different kinds of centre backs, like we used to have. Bailly used to make Lindelof look world class, like because Bailly used to cover tremendous amount of pace, and he was really physical and he was really athletic.
But he was also Booker T. Let's not forget, he was also.
I know, but then
he was hilarious, wasn't he?
I know it was hilarious and defending, but I'm saying that physical presence that can cover a lot of space. We don't have that guy outside of maybe Euro.
I liked Bailly to be there. Like I could
have actual Twanzebe, but he was injury prone as well. So
yeah, we don't have that guy. We don't have a Konate, because if you watch Liverpool, people wonder why Liverpool are able to just squeeze up the pitch. When you have Konate and Van Dijk, you can leave those two on their own and they defend all that space.
Get at Crystal Palace.
Who?
Gay at Crystal Palace.
He's gonna be
I'm not feeling. Nah, you see him today.
He's like 70 million pounds.
Yeah,
he's gonna be today.
He's a good player. So just last one on delete. Yeah, our total contribution over the next 5 years is 100 million euros towards salary and transfer fee. If you add them together, that's a lot for a backup. That is not financially prudent. So
you can sell him and still get some of your money back as well. We don't have to keep him for the whole length of his contract.
You see, you're trying to justify it. We can sell.
No, I'm just saying, like,
why are we bringing a player in that you can then that you were intending to sell 12 months later or 2 years later? That makes no sense. You got to bring a player in.
You can do that. Manchester United, again, I've watched other clubs do this. You have Chelsea who will sign a player, playing for 1-2 seasons, they move him on and sell him. Man City didn't always have world-class center backs. They had Di Michelis, they have other players that they had when they were building. You are going to have to sign some players that are going to be like stopgap situations sometimes. Yeah, I get it. The salary is not ideal. I wouldn't pay him 190k. But what would you pay him? You wouldn't pay him 100, maybe somewhere 150. So it's like, okay,
it was just the wrong signing. That's the point. It was the wrong signing. He wasn't going to progress. If in the back of your mind, Brian, if the intention is to sell him 1 or 2 years later, then you've already made a mistake. The intention should be that you want to build a squad that can grow up together, that can learn together.
You said
add to the I think one of the big issues that we have is that we don't have a well-defined culture at United because we got players coming in and out.
We don't.
And if you're moving in and out players,
you combine his wages and his transfer fee and say this is the outlay if he stays the max length of his contract. I'm saying we don't have to do that because of his value in Europe and the kind of career he's had. You can always sell him and make your money. He's gonna be 27 in 3 years. He's not super old. You can still get
you can still get a lot of him, man.
Yeah. So I'm not like financially, but if you want to judge
25
based on what
do you think that will happen, or do you think he'll still be at the club in 3-4 years' time?
I don't know.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Maguire's been in 5 years. Why not? You know what I mean?
I don't think we'll be able to move him. I don't think we'll be able to move him. You're gonna look for another defender. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't make sense, man.
Yeah, let's move on to Amorim, man. Guys, 1.1k in the building, man. Let's get these likes to 500 likes, people, man. This has been a good show, man. We're on 350 likes. You know what I mean? Let's get 150 more to reach the half target. You know what I mean? So big up to everyone locked in. Amorim has been speaking, obviously, today. He said something today to the media. He said, I must say, we have enjoyed the extra time we have had on the training ground these past weeks. But for the first half hour game at Everton, I saw no sign of the team that had been working so well together at Carrington in the previous days, man. I'm gonna start with you, Omar, man. What are you saying, Amorim? Tomorrow, big game, bro. If he draws or loses that game, that might be it. That's
a 6-point game in the relegation battle.
6 pointer, 6 pointer, man. Omar, what are you saying, Amorim, man? You liking it right now? What are you saying, man? You know what I mean? Amorim. Trust Amorim, trust the process. What are you saying?
This is how I'm gonna break it down, bro. Because this is how I'm really breaking it down. All right, because a lot of people are clearly against him. I can't. First of all, we backed Ten Hag for 3 years, and after giving the man 600 million, right? Cool. And then we're gonna sit here and say that, oh yeah, but he gave us results and he won 2 trophies. There was never an identity and a system under Erik ten Hag. Even though I liked Erik ten Hag, you remember I was digging what he was doing, but there was never a point of what's going on in the field. We were winning. We weren't winning by margins. We were just getting the job done. The job was just getting done. From after the World Cup, we went on a crazy run. When he first started, it was a disaster. After the World Cup, we actually seen a winning run. And let's be honest, the standard dropped after that Newcastle title one we had. Ever since that day, the United fall off went, and we could all agree that we just got through it. It was getting through it. So it was a bandage on trying to stop a flood with a band-aid. Now, in terms of Amorim, this is how I see it. I look at him as a top chef, right? And he's going to work at a restaurant, and then now the restaurant every day complains why is their biggest seller the steak dry, right? You're gonna look to the restaurant. You're gonna be like, well, my equipment sucks, right? And my staff suck. I don't have the best cooks and I don't have the best equipment. Well, we still need you to produce because this is our bestseller. How are you gonna turn something into tier A when the backing is not even there, right? And we could use this actual window. What happened? He wasn't back. He let out Marcus Rashford and Anthony and Malacia, and they just brought in Dorgu. God forbid something happens to Dorgu. Who's gonna fill up the position? Right? And it's Luke Shaw. Okay, let's hope these guys are just at this point are just not reliable. And then people are, well, like, he's well spoken. That's why you like him. Well, let's be honest. If I have a man that's telling me the problem that I visibly could see, then I'm gonna back him.
Yeah.
Because you see, that's different. It's different if that Everton game and he came out, and we could all agree here when it was ETH or any other coach up there, we were the better team, we controlled the game, but unfortunately, he came and said he was just said what it is. He said, guys, the team was non-existent. He said the team was not there. He knows the holes, he sees the holes, and he's just trying to patch up the holes. And of course, we're not going to patch up the holes. Personally, I don't think the holes are going to get patched up towards till a summer window. But it's to me, I have to ride it out, bro. I think he sees the game very well. I think he speaks very well. I think he understands the game. I think he believes in what he does. And at the end of the day, I'm never gonna look at a man crazy if he believes into something that he believes, because we all have beliefs and we all became something in life due to the fact that we have this thought and belief to follow, and that's vice versa. I just think it's gonna take some time, and I think it's gonna fucking suck. Let's be honest, especially with a lot of people not understanding, but there's a lot of times that we could score and finish chances, and that's not on him now. Like we were talking in the chat the other day, when Xerxes got the ball towards the final minutes, all he had to do was turn past the ball to Garnacho, right? Garnacho now is on the break. Why is he gonna go on the field and be like, no, let me turn for you? The one time Anthony missed the open net, Garnacho against Spurs. Garnacho against Spurs. That puts us back in the game. Little things like that puts you back in the game. Little things like that boost confidence. He talks about confidence all the time. Leaving the game 3-4-0 up. You coming in the next game, we hot. Little stuff like that starts to kind of put you on track. And unfortunately, the players are not following. And I still have faith after seeing Dorgu play. I see how Dorgu's playing his system, and that's a player he asked for. That's a player that he agreed on, and he made the final decision. I'm seeing how Dorgu's moving in that position. I see how he's understanding the system. We've seen Dorgu's debut, the game after that against Spurs, and then the other game. We could all say there were solid performances, and we cannot sit here and disagree. And we could also say seeing him on the overlap so many times, and Garnacho ignoring that. Whoever's playing with him on that side ignoring that. And it's like, okay, the system's working, because if you pass that overlap, now this is some stuff that's going on. So it's just one of those things where I can't, and I'm not going to sit here, well, the players are shit. Can you improve these players? Absolutely. But everybody hated Maguire, and there was failed Maguire comps before Amorim came on the team. Everybody was cussing Bruno before Amorim came on the team. Everybody hated Casemiro before Amorim came on the team. And so it's like De Ligt was shunned from his last good talk was Ajax. Like we could sit here and talk about every single player on the field, and they were just not. We would scream they were not good. Adam is a person that I had to give it to him. He, since last Ten Hag, been telling you drop Rashford and drop Bruno. And I would argue with Adam about that. But then I come now, Rashford and Bruno. So it starts to click. The issues are lying there. They've been there. The only issues is he's not giving you the results, and we are very a result-based fan base. At the end of the day,
I think right now, though, would you argue that results are all what's important right now for him?
But Saeed, we started the season with what was when Ten Hag left us. You just said it.
He was. We were 4 points behind top four. I think we were 4 points behind top four. I think when he came in.
But the season had just started. It wasn't like we were. It wasn't like we were looking terrible against Ten Hag. Why'd he get sacked if we were 4 points behind top four?
Well, you know what the thing is. it's not even results for me. Of course, results are bad, but I need to see something that makes me believe in it,
I
and
agree.
it's too inconsistent for me. Like
I
you
agree
could
with
take,
you.
for
I agree
example,
with you, but
because
Adam,
you could take
you
a
see
manager, for example, you give
consistency
me
of the
Amorim,
player.
you give me Amorim, you give me another manager. They have the exact same record, like same amount of losses, wins, draws. One could deserve time, one could deserve a sack. It depends on what you see on the pitch. Like I need to see something that when he first arrived and he saw the performances against Arsenal and Liverpool and this and that, that was very encouraging, and that was the same squad, and we haven't seen that level since. So I'm confused. The profiling of the players.
I was confused too because at the end of the day, we played our best football against the bigger teams, and we play our worst football since against the teams that we decide to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And this is what small teams do, man.
But
And I'm happy about it.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. It's what small teams do. Is you get the battle in relegation. Wolves all of a sudden beat Man City. Ooh, whoop-de-doo.
Exactly.
But I'm not gonna. No, let's be honest. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh wow, like because against those teams there was something we saw that's not. Oh, this is a small team. You could see a big team character. You could see the big dog in certain aspects. But there's also, let's say he lost 10 times. Honestly, bro, I would say 7 of them on the players. I could count some games where he made tactical decisions that were horrible. I agree with that. But 7 of them on games we should have been buried. We should have
but
been
that's why
trying.
that's why my focus is not on the results. Because, like, for example, if Garnacho scores that open goal against Spurs, it's not the same game.
Now we're back in the
Yeah,
game.
true,
It's 1-1.
true.
It's 1-1.
Yeah, exactly. But the performance was still not good. Like at this point, the season's a write-off. I need us to be ready for next season. Like we could lose, we could win. At this point, it doesn't really matter.
You might not get next season.
But exactly. I would
That's
give
the
him.
worry. That's the worry for me.
I would
You
give
might
him.
not get.
I would not sack him.
We would be a horrible club if this man gets sacked before the summertime.
Bro,
Because
it would.
I wouldn't
It would.
sack him.
It would.
But you know what?
I can see because Ineos are going to sack 2 coaches in the 1 year, and they're already in loss. You're not profitable. This is not Chelsea Abramovich where he had money and he was bringing money out of nowhere. This is you're cutting food in a cafeteria, right? So you don't have money at. So then on top of that,
I don't want him sacked. I don't want him sacked. I want him to get the summer. I want him to get some players. However, if the players we target in the summer are not the positions we target are not something that makes sense to me, and if comes September, October, it's dead, I'm sorry, can't have it.
No.
Go
Go ahead,
Stella.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna say, I get the frustrations with Amorim. Nobody likes to lose, right? But Saeed, you'd be my witness. I said this, that it was going to be very difficult.
Yeah,
and I think fans' expectations were kind of off when Amorim came in because we don't have the team. I know people are saying we are better than 15th, right? If you look at the table, it's between I think 4 points or something separating 8th and 10th, something like that.
Bro, it's 4 points separating 10th to 4th.
Are we a 10th place team in this league? No. We are below that. We're not 4 points off 4th place. We
are.
don't
I
have
think
that squad.
I don't know. I think we are 15 or 12 points behind 4th.
Okay, so that makes sense to me, right? Because in terms of quality of our squad, that's about where we are. That's about where we are. And I think people don't. The league doesn't lie. Now it looks
16,
bad.
Actually, 16. If we win tomorrow, we're 13.
Okay, so it looks bad because we're that far away, and there are more teams above us because other teams have improved and we've regressed. That's why it looks really bad. But we don't have the squad. Now I think Amorim can do better with what he has in terms of performances. I'm not so sure about results because again, we don't score enough goals. We haven't scored enough goals for a while as a team. So if we can improve in terms of performances, I will. That's what I'm looking at more so to the end of the season than actually the results. I want to see the system. I want to see the repetitions. I want to see those things happen constantly. Even if it's not successful, I want to see those repetitions continue and continue and continue, and the team growing confidence. That's what I want to see. So at the end of the day, listen, we sack him, I guarantee you, we'll go through the same process again.
Yeah, I hear it.
100%. It's going to be like, you can't escape this process, guys. You either take the medicine now with Amorim or you take it with another guy. At some point, we're going to have to go through this pain where a manager has to install some principles in this team that has had none for over 5 years, probably more. So it's painful because we're taking a team that never had any, that no foundations, nothing. Ole didn't instill that. He played a certain brand of football, but that was not sustainable. It's not a brand of football, and another coach can just continue and come in and continue playing. So now as a club, we're trying to form an ethos. Barcelona have a way of playing. We had everything with Sir Alex Ferguson. He left and there's been a vacuum. Now we need to replace that with something else. So I see where people may not have the confidence of Amorim being that guy to put that in there, right? Maybe people don't rate him. People don't believe he's the one that can do that. But I know you might not read the Portuguese league, but what he did at Sporting shows me a coach that can come into a difficult environment where he's not supposed to be the guy that wins and do something pretty good. He can bring young players through. I think he manages his squad pretty well, considering what we have and the injuries we typically have. He speaks well. He's honest with fans. Now it's the tactical approach. I know people don't like 3 at the back, but 3 at the back is not the issue, right? Look at Crystal Palace today. They play 3 at the back. I keep telling people it's not the issue.
It's not the issue. I agree.
So we need the level of talent to support the coach sometimes. It's just the reality. We don't have the players. I don't know what people want.
Yeah, but
my problem kind of player.
All of this is true, Brian. I agree with you, but the things he has control over, he gets wrong too often for my liking.
Yes, that's a.
Can you give me an example? Like, what would you say is your biggest issue with Amorim?
The obsession with certain players, taking too long to realize that certain players don't suit certain positions. Like the Dalot thing, it's been too long to get to that. It's not my problem. Is it's scaring me for the future. It shouldn't have been taking that long. Sometimes I agree that I hear the work rate of Bruno in this, but sometimes he makes a change in middle to improve the situation in the midfield, and then he puts Bruno in there and moves someone else, and he just neutralizes his own attempt to improve things. Sometimes it's okay to sub a player. I'm a big fan of not playing with your centre-back pairing or back three. So far, when Martinez was fit, Mazraoui, De Ligt, and Martinez was the best option, and he started experimenting with Maguire and this and that and moving this. If there's one thing you don't like, you never see any team that is aspiring to good things mess with a centre-back pairing when it's a good centre-back pairing. And there are things like that just annoy me.
So
just on that, I think the most damning stat for Amorim is that we've scored like 3 goals in the first half under his tenure. And a lot of our goals come in the second half. So if you think about it, like it's when we're chasing a game, when there's more chaos, when players are playing with freedom and they're not so worried about following his exact instructions, we're more likely to score. But when we're actually following his principles, then we're less likely. Then we're less likely to score. I think that's a damning stat. And the other point is, like at the moment, if you think about this like a relation, we're in the dating stage of a relationship and we're deciding whether to get married or not. Yeah. And what people like Brian are asking is that we show blind loyalty. Even though one side's, not fulfilling their promise, they're cheating, not doing what they're supposed, and we're just going, let's just show blind, let's just get married anyways. And I'm just not ready to do that. At least if you can show us truth, and Gary Neville said this. He goes, the only game where I felt like United have played well was a Liverpool game. And we're going to use, so he hasn't played well in a lot of, like 95% of the games we haven't played well. And we're asking to spend another $200 million going to a new season without showing zero evidence of his system working. I'm not ready to do that. I think it's a bit too risky.
And
can I respond to that? Brian, can I respond to that, yeah?
Sure.
Well, I'm going to caveat off what Brian said is we have selected a profile of manager to come in to play a specific type of football. We're all in the consensus that we have a group of collective players from different managers who play a select different type of football. Yeah. You now want to try and mesh them into this new type of football that this particular manager plays. Yeah. When Klopp left Liverpool, they went to go get another manager who had a similar philosophy. When someone gets rid of when Pep goes, I'm sure they're going to recruit somebody who has a similar philosophy. When we get rid of managers at United, we go for the young one. We go for the club legend. We go for the serial winner. We go for the hipster manager. then what ends up happening is you get many different methodologies, ideologies all mixed together who can't do this one thing. What needs to happen now? It needs to be a clear route. Whether you think the manager's good enough, what I want to see is his methodology being instilled. And if he's not the right guy, get rid of him. That's fine. You then get somebody who plays a similar style of football who can then take charge. That's what needs to happen. What you're saying doesn't make sense. You don't want to. You got PTSD. You don't want to spend money on this manager because of X, Y, and the third what happened in the past. But I'm telling you, there's a massive mitigating circumstance as to why this is happening. You have too many wrong elements to correct what you want to do. That's the whole point. Whether you like it or not, that's the truth, and you need to see it through. It's like being excluded from secondary school, and the teachers have called your parents. You know when you get home, you're going to get beat. You know you're going to get a beating. But instead of going directly home and just taking your beating, you're trying to elongate the process. Oh, I'm going to stay at my friend's house. I'm going to Bro, it doesn't matter. When you go through them front doors, your parents are going to give you a beating you've never had before. But it's either it happens now or it happens later. Either way, it's happening.
Get it over and done with. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, we got to go through this pain. And as a fan base, we don't want to go through this pain. We want to have everything. We want to see fantastic football. We want to see us winning games. Listen, that's what we are used to. That's what we want. And I want that at the end of this process. So that's what I want to see. I want to see Manchester United win the Premier League. But I guarantee you, we're not going to win the Premier League if we don't stick to a plan. Like you can't keep just sacking. What direction? We don't know. We don't know.
They said he might be our Graham Potter. The people are saying he might be our Graham Potter.
Well, that's Chelsea. Chelsea are chaos, bro. Chelsea are a chaos football club. They're used to stacking managers.
That wanted Graham Potter or what's his name?
Who?
South. I'm hearing people saying we might get Southgate or Graham.
Yeah,
Potter.
but you see what you said about Graham Potter. What happened after Graham Potter? They got in Poch. They shitted on Poch. What happened after Poch? They got Maresca. They shitted on Maresca. Why can't for once people look above and look below? It is not just the coach, bro. It's simple.
Well,
and that's what I've been trying to say for weeks.
One person than to blame everyone else because
it's more than just the style of playing football. The coach is going to give you an 11. The coach is going to train these players to play a certain system that's going to defeat the other team. He's going to use a player based off their capabilities of playing football. It's simple as that. Everything else, it's a club, bro. This is a business. It's a $1 billion industry. This is where money made. We're talking about the best club in the world. If from above. It's just, if it's not working from above, what makes it think if we go tomorrow and get Pep Guardiola, this is going to work? I swear to God, bro, and I promise you everything. If we had Arne Slot this season, I feel like we would have probably been like 6th.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be 6th. I saw someone make this argument on Twitter, and they said if we swapped managers with Liverpool, where would Liverpool be and where would we be? We would be exactly where we are right now.
And I could agree. I'm saying 6 is that me reaching, because if you look at
Mo Salah and Van Dijk, like what are we talking about? He has one of the best forwards in the world right now.
No one dewaits Darwin, right? No one rates. But when you look at Gakpo and Salah, let's not even talk about Salah. You look at the middle, McAllister, Gravenberch, and you could go on about players in each position. I hate to use the word world class. I don't think there's a world class midfielder in Liverpool, but there's definitely a world class defender, a world claess keeper, we could argue, and then a world class winger. So there's three people who could just do individual brilliance.
When Gravenberch came to Liverpool, people were calling him washed and Cody Gakpo washed. What actually happened is that they had a system already in place, so they weren't made to come into the team and people to be relied on. They were able to embed themselves and get used to it. What United fans are doing is what politicians are doing to bad areas, where there's an area full of gang members. Instead of actually finding out why there's so much criminal goings in this area, they build a concrete football pitch or an outdoor gym and go, that's going to change everything. Wake up! You're doing small things to fix major issues. It's like you're throwing a stone into the ocean and expecting a massive change. It's not going to happen. Look at the actual problem.
The problem is the ownership. And
you know what? I think for me, I hear it, man. But in the short term, he's got to get some results on the board, man. They started tomorrow.
He has
Short
shown
term, yeah.
yes.
The one thing I will ask,
Saeed, I'll be very, very honest. If we plan for next year with Bruno as a starter, I will have to say what's on my chest. I have to say.
But he is though. You know he is though.
Here's what I'll say.
He's going to be starting.
Adam,
He's going to be central to everything we do.
He ain't going
That's a
anywhere.
fact.
He ain't going anywhere, Adam.
Adam,
If
this is what I'll say.
If
If you
Bruno
want
is
Bruno
starting
gone,
next season, and he's
if
like,
you
if
don't-
we don't plan to replace him, I'm done. Because we
don't
have
want
He is
replaced.
though. That's the thing though. He is though, Adam. He is going to
Well,
start.
then that's it. Well, then I will have to.
He's going to be
But
captain
Adam,
for sure.
if you don't want Bruno to play, you sign better players than Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
But
I
he
hear
needs-
it.
because-
Exactly.
I'm not Bruno's biggest fan. I'm not Bruno's biggest fan. But what do I see on the pitch when Bruno plays? Right, he is the guy that at least will try something. And this team
This
can
is
be
what I
so.
said.
But hold on. This team can be so dead, like that first half against Everton. We were so dead, like nobody wanted to do anything. They were scared because Goodison Park can be like that. The players were scared. At least Bruno did something.
You know
But
what happens?
if you want to
know what
move on
happens as
from
well?
Bruno, you need better players.
When,
That's what
this is why first. This is what I said.
Oh, sorry.
This is what I said. If they plan with him as a striker, as a starter, I will have an issue. We need to see hints of him getting moved out. And another thing, we don't ever play as a team because Bruno always tries to do something. If Bruno was taken out of the team, the players wouldn't have Bruno in their ears shouting this and that and give it to me and move there. They will start playing as a team more. And the very
sure.
I'm
not sure. I'm not sure.
You know what? We have replaced everyone. And we can't ever have a style of play because we have the most disruptive player ever. It's terrible.
I can't like Adam. What I was gonna say before this, the media also are to blame as well. How on earth are you giving them my man of the match because he scored a free kick? How many misplaced passes? How many times are you giving the ball away? And the thing that no one gets talking about, yeah. Fair enough, you don't have a captain in the team and he stepped up to the plate. But when you have a senior profile player in the team, yeah, and there's young players misplacing a pass and he's going, and he's doing all of this.
Yeah.
Confidence. But you're the guy doing this, yeah? You've misplaced how many passes in the first half? You've given the ball how many times? You're not saying nothing. We can't progress forward until we remove Rashford and Bruno. I will die on this hill.
I agree.
Because you know what, Brian?
Have to do get rid of those two people.
And let's see exactly because you know what, Brian. I have a very good friend of mine in Morocco, and every time I'm there with that guy, he always gets us in trouble. But he always is the one that solves the problem and take us out of the trouble. And this is basically Bruno.
Yeah, I know.
He's the one that will try to trick someone. We'll go into another neighborhood, a very rough neighborhood for some snack or so. And he will start beef with people. And at the end of the evening, he will be friends with them. But he's the one that started the beef. And I'm like, why didn't you put us in that situation in the first place? And that's basically Bruno. Let's just avoid trouble.
But look at the game, yeah. Look at the game, yeah. If you analyze the game, bro, that free kick kind of changed the outcome of what Bruno's performance was. So before that, he was literally giving the ball away. He was
poor. It was a typical Bruno performance where he gives the ball away a lot, and listen. I don't like the kind of player Bruno Fernandes is. His style of play is not what I would like in that, especially in the 10th position. But again, this is when I've said it before. My eyes are on Ineos and the recruitment team.
Yeah,
it's not Bruno's fault that he's at Manchester United. He was signed for a specific style of football, and that style of football has changed over the course of many managers. And now we need something else. We now know that in order to play consistent possession-based football, we need a player that's different from Bruno. We need a player that's stronger, that can hold the ball. Look at what Morgan Rogers is doing at Aston Villa. For me, if you want to fix that, what do? Aston Villa this season, right? If they don't finish in Champions League places, they're going to have 96% of their wages tied, I guess, committed to. They're spending most of their money on wages, 96%, which is almost 50, almost double what Man United are doing. They're going to be in financial trouble. You go to them and say, hey, we'll give you Rashford, give us Rodgers, and we'll pay you 50, 60 million, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, that is what I want to see from the recruitment team. If you want to solve this Bruno Fernandes problem,
get better.
You get better players.
But you know what? This is the thing. I would 100% agree with you in an institution that is competent. But there are some players that if you don't remove them completely, there is some sort of attraction, they will be picked. This is why I wanted Fellaini gone, not because I think Fellaini was terrible. Fellaini always found a way to get on the pitch. This is why I want Maguire gone.
Yeah,
They loved him. They wanted. We used him as a target man from midfield.
Yeah,
he was our target man from midfield.
Exactly, and this is why I wanted McTominay gone, because McTominay, I think he's a top professional. I think he's very useful in some. I don't think he's that great. He will find a way to play, I was just fed up with that. And Bruno, if he stays and we get better players, because we've had Mata, we've had better players. Like they pushed Pogba to the left. Donny van de Beek never played. The one Mata never played. Eriksen didn't play. They will be pushed aside to accommodate him, or he will find a way to play. Like
the one thing I'll say to that is that Amorim has at least shown me that he knows Bruno's weaknesses more than any other manager that we've talked about. Because look at that number 10 position. What did he say? He gives away the ball too much. He knows. He moved him from the 10. Like you want to score goals, you're moving your best creative player in the world to further back away from the place where you can score goals. So again, he knows. He's aware. Like Amorim is not that. I know people are saying Portuguese bias and all that kind of stuff. The reason why he plays Dalot, I can tell you right now, Dalot stays fit more than most players.
Yeah, no, he's fit. He's an engine. He's
fit. That's honestly, that guy does.
That's fair.
They did say that. I don't know if you saw this, Brian, but they did say that he is close with Bruno and Dalot. They're his two closest friends.
That's fair. Yeah. Obrigado.
I'm not insinuating anything. I'm presenting a fact. I'm not insinuating.
No, he'll be close to them, but like I don't think he has any issue dropping them if he has better. Like he will
never drop them, however.
Yeah, no. He doesn't have favorites, or like he's not emotionally attached.
I think so far both have at least dropped many performances which you could say they deserve to be dropped at least 30 minutes before the end of the game, and he didn't.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I'll say again. I don't know if it's unfortunate or fortunate that the two players that we might want to see dropped are the fittest in the squad. Bruno never gets injured. Dalot is a very fit player, and like from what I hear, he's always hardworking in training. So
he's a hard trainer.
That stuff plays on the mind of managers more than most. But again, if you go sign more talented players like we've seen with Dogu, obviously we need to see more from him to see where he can get to.
Yeah.
But if you go blind, you have Cunha in the squad, you have Edison from Atalanta, you have these players. If Bruno has a stinker, he'll sub him. You sub him, or he doesn't even play him. Like you can take that away from the manager. Remember, Liverpool had Coutinho who was flying.
Yeah,
they ended up selling him, of course. But the point is, if Mane, Salah, and all these players existed, would Coutinho just get into the team, or if they had better players? Same thing. You look at Manchester City with what's his name? That's waste of space. Grealish.
Yeah,
is he playing now? I don't know if he's injured or if he's
barely.
Yeah, but you know what? The problem is, it's Klopp and Pep Guardiola never had any issue with dropping a player regardless of the quality of the player. Like he would drop Kevin De Bruyne, he would drop Haaland, he would drop Bernardo Silva if needed, or Mahrez. This guy never ever gets dropped, even if there are better options at times.
Adam, Phil Foden, Bernardo Silva,
they have so much.
He doesn't mind doing it because there's other people to replace him.
He never dropped he never dropped Rodri because of how important he was to the team. I'm not saying that Bruno is our Rodri or anything like that, not even close, not even on the same planet. But I'm telling you, I've been so shocked by how much this squad has nothing. This squad is useless. Like
it is.
Jesus Christ! Like you guys have no shame.
It's the worst squad we've ever assembled.
They play like
it is.
I'm Saeed, man. I don't want to get your video demonetized, but they play like cowards, bro. They honestly play like cowards. Look at I get Ashley Young dived in the end of that game against Everton, but look at the defending. Look at the defending. Look at Onana. Like, what is this? Like, oh Jesus.
I agree.
Embarrassing.
Just quickly.
Change it to Ange. Yeah, go on, Ange.
And no, I was just going to ask you. Maybe I'll ask it later. But I was going to ask, what do you think of Ineos cancelling the lunch? Does anybody have any opinions?
Yeah, listen, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Offering apples and bananas instead.
Yeah, with the cuts, yeah. If the results weren't the way it was, yeah, I wouldn't mind because I'm not an advocate for anyone losing their jobs, but when you look around the Premier League and how well-run clubs are, United as a institution, I believe, has had a lot of like people that are just tag-alongs. There's a lot of people at the club that shouldn't actually be employed by the club. And also, by removing this amount of staff, it also takes control in terms of maybe leaks and some other things. They're just going about it the wrong way. If they just said, we've been poor on the pitch, we need to make some cuts, blah, 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 I would understand. But then when you're keeping people like Mason Mount, Luke Shaw, Casemiro, who are on high wages, and you're trying to say we're doing this for financial reasons, I know you're lying to me. It's not the truth.
But they tried to get rid of those guys, though, especially Casemiro. They tried to bin him off.
Nobody
wants him.
Contracts. If you want to release him, you have to pay him. That's the problem.
You have to pay him off.
The only way they can salvage this is if all the people that they're cutting all the staff here is if in the summer they start to then subsidize all of these players' wages to kick them out of the club. So if you then pay out a Luke Shaw, pay out a Casemiro, which I highly doubt they will do, in the summer to get them gone, then I'd be like, okay, the staff had to go for this to happen.
To respond to your point, Estrella, the reason why I know they're trying to get the financial things under control, because even with the announcement of Vivell, they say he took a lower wage to actually take the job. So I think it's actually something that they're trying to do.
Do you believe that, or was that just spin to make it look?
No, they won't. Makes zero sense to lie about something like that, because that can be easily checked by journalists. You can find that out. I'm sure there's someone that's Manchester United accounting that will be like, no, Vivell never got his wages dropped.
I wouldn't be surprised. You've sacked over 200 staff members, and you employ one person, and then you say he's on this he's not going to look good. So maybe they're trying to control the narrative. You never know.
They could do.
Yeah, because you know what? I think we found ourselves in a situation that. Yeah, go ahead, Andrew.
So, do you guys know Kieran Maguire? He does a lot of the data and analytics.
Yeah, the finance.
He was on Rio's podcast, anyways. He's saying, "Oh, it's not going to make." He said it's not going to make. I don't trust him. He doesn't tell the truth. So, he said that it's not going to make a big savings. So, the first round of cuts saved United 35 million annually. That's 250 staff. This one will save the club. This one will save the club not as much because it's less. So, if they say it's 150 to 200, they should save about 20 million. So that's about, if you think about it, it's about 55 million annually. And most of them look at it over a 10-year period. You're looking at 250 million, 300 million that the club will save on this. And if you don't think you need these people, then why you? I never get why you employ people. People will find other jobs.
Yeah, but you know what?
There's a way of doing it. There's a way of doing it.
I think
it's very not classy.
What did they do wrong, though?
There's no good way to fire someone. Let me tell you that right now.
There's no exactly. Brian's right. 100%. There's no good way. The last thing you want. The last thing you want is when somebody's sacking you to patronize you. Just sack me. If you're going to get rid of me, get rid of me. Don't patronize me. Don't tell me how beautiful I am before you sack me. Just sack me.
I think the club finds itself in a situation that... the club finds itself in a situation where it's been so badly managed that there are jobs that were given to friends and people out of loyalty over the years. But it's just very, very tough to sack people. Like I'm not okay or happy with people losing their jobs, but that situation should not have existed in the first place. So you find yourself in a way that it's just techie, isn't it? Because we've had incompetent people giving jobs to friends. I think Sir Alex Ferguson is responsible for a lot of it.
Don't give me that.
And
don't give me that. I love Fergie, but
those things add up. So of course they have. I understand why they have to do it, because for a club that is so badly run, so badly managed, that is
losing. You watch the end of the statement though. They said we'll be in a better position in a couple of years. It's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee.
Financially, I don't deny you probably will be, because we are actually self-sufficient. So all these cutbacks, eventually, you will see an upward trajectory. My thing is, like what Ange said, there is no polite way of saying, "Oh, you're sacked" or whatever. But my thing is, you're doing it in a disingenuous way, because there's people in that club you're saying that don't need to be there. It's jobs for the boys. What does Darren Fletcher do? There's people on that bench that are sitting there. Like, I've been at clubs, like some decent clubs, where I'm sitting in the change room and I'm looking at my man. What do you do? Because
do you remember when they asked Ragnick about Fletcher?
It's for vibes.
Yeah, I don't know what he does.
But they asked them.
Do you know what I want to say about Darren Fletcher?
That's another scenario.
Do you know what I say about Darren Fletcher?
Fletcher.
Yeah, that was mostly Sir Alex Ferguson, but again, I think people are very soft on Fletcher because he had that illness.
The stomach thing, yeah.
Yeah, he had that very big illness, and I think the
Yeah.
club has taken it upon themselves to keep providing him finances because of it. So I'm sure. Listen, I'm sure Ineos will cut him if you know. But it's one of those that's like, you know how the media is gonna be.
Do you remember, guys? Do you guys remember?
I don't know.
Phelan? Do you remember Mike Phelan was sleeping on the bench at home and not present at away games?
Yeah. Listen, we've had
Rangnick called him out as well. Rangnick called him out as well.
Yeah,
we've had a lot of grifters in this club for a very long time. And what's his name? Luke Shaw. When I said this before, when the owner of the club is telling you on international break, don't get injured, do people think he wants to keep paying this guy millions of pounds a year?
Yeah.
Hell no. He would love to get rid of Luke Shaw.
Luke Shaw is on 198. Come on, now.
Bro. By the way,
the other
did you see Luke Shaw?
is-
Luke Shaw and the Mason Mount, they don't know when he's going to be returning. They don't know. There's no
You know, it's been over a year since Shaw played for us. It's been over 12 months.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Is that true?
He got injured about this time.
Nah, it can't be true. You know, let me check his. Let me check that.
He got injured before the Euros.
He came back.
He got injured before the Euros.
But he got injured again. He tried coming back this season, but he got injured again.
He got injured in the Luton game.
Don't be surprised if there's less moving forward now.
Is this less what?
Oh, you know what? Luke Shaw last played for Man United in a league match on December the 1st, 2023 against Everton. Played 40 minutes in a 4-0 victory.
Wow.
Is that actually true?
Saeed, and look at the narrative.
That can't be right, man.
Look at the way they spoke about Anthony Martial.
No, he came back. He came back, I think, for Luton game, and he got injured again.
Martial,
He came back for a
look
Luton
at
game.
we talked about Varane.
That's not right. Is that actually true?
Saeed, remember at
It's
Christmas?
ridiculous.
When they done that?
He came on in the game for Lisandro Martinez, didn't he?
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
Luton game.
He
He came on
back,
for
but like
and then he got injured again.
he got
And
injured
then
again,
never played for us until and then he was ready for the Euros.
And then he went to
started.
Remember at Christmas? He was with Molly May and done that TikTok about when people lose. Oh, not Christmas. They lost their jobs and he's injured. Imagine that was Paul Pogba right now. Look at. They would have,
Yeah, now real talk.
No,
We've gone.
you're
Nah,
right.
people overreacted to that, man. People overreacted to that. It's a TikTok. Just relax.
But if Pogba did that, the media would
Because he's injured. Think about this. Because he's injured, he can't do a TikTok. What people crazy, man.
he was
Lost their
quick to
minds.
And it's more so like he worked so hard to try and play for England in the Euros, knowing
That's a
fully
good
well
point.
he wasn't fully recovered.
Criticize him for that.
If
not making a
if
TikTok.
Pogba
Come
did
on,
that for
man.
France, he would.
Pogba was
Lost your mind,
criticized for
bro.
praying, man. Pogba was criticized
Stella.
for praying.
Stella, come on, man. You can't
No,
be like
it's not. Come on, I'm showing you the comparison. No one's saying that you can't do a TikTok. I'm saying, brother, we pay your wages. You've been injured all majority of the season. Somehow you're miraculously fit for English international. When we need you, you're not here.
That's a fair criticism. But don't criticize him for making a TikTok.
You're out here doing TikToks, reacting to when people are broke or whatever, and people are losing their jobs at the club. Paul
It was a
Pogba.
joke.
Wait. Paul Pogba was injured, dancing at a wedding, got crucified for it. I don't hear nothing here. Mason Mount, where are you? Where are you? Everyone's playing this. Oh, I feel sorry for him. That's all well and good, but brother, this is business. You're getting
combined wages. Isn't it like 400,000 or something? 450,000.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's unfair.
Yeah, they need to go.
Yeah.
If I'm Manchester United, the last thing I'll say in regards to Ineos is if I'm Man United, they need to put the pressure on the players, especially the ones that are taking the wages. They need to be smart about it when it comes to removing the players from the club.
Yeah.
It might not be fair, but what I would say, if I was them, I would say, now we are suffering as a club. It is not fair for normal people to lose their jobs and for players who are making millions and not playing to still be at the club. We would love to be able to move players on fairly and give them a fair playout for their contributions to the club, but they need to understand our current financial situation. That is literally what I would say, and then get them gone.
By the way, just tomorrow, obviously, Wednesday, obviously, would you start Cheeto, or do you think it's too soon?
No.
No, you just stick with Højlund.
He's not ready, man. He's not ready.
I don't think there's a good issue for him. If he plays badly, that's tough for him. If he plays well, that's bad for him as well.
Yeah, it's bad because the pressure. Like I've said this, Saeed, it's a catch-22. If he starts, he plays crap, everyone's gonna say, "Oh, he's rubbish." Write him off. If you start him and he scores, you know what's gonna happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you rather just play Højlund up front then?
No. That's not the
You
only.
bring him on in the last 5 minutes, Saeed. The last 5 minutes, the last 10 minutes.
I'd rather start Højlund. He does the doggy work, and in the last 20, 30 minutes, maybe you can introduce him.
What if there's no 20 minutes? If there's no 20 minutes, it might not be 20 minutes. You know, they might be winning. Might, you know.
I would. You know what? It's such a shit situation, honestly.
Nah, we are so bad, man.
Is it? Yeah. Tomorrow for me, and he's got to get a result, but I feel like Old Trafford need a little bit of a performance
lift, yeah.
as well, man. A little bit.
They need a little bit of a lift.
Power, relying on youngers to do a madness. It's crazy.
Yeah.
How do he's 17?
Ipswich are bad, though.
17 or
Ipswich are
16?
bad team, man.
And I implore you, please, go and watch Chido under 18s and 21s. The Donny is not ready. He's not ready.
No, I agree, bro. I've seen him. He's not technically just in between the lines. He doesn't know how to pass yet. Like there's just a lot to go there. The thing is, at underage, the other thing I'll say is at that level, looking at their stats is not worthwhile. Like at that level, looking at their stats, because sometimes players are differently physically developed of their career. Like some are really big, some are, you know what I mean? Looking at stats is not like, so when people say, oh, he's got a record for most goals, I'm like, that's almost irrelevant. What are your technical abilities? How do you receive the, like, that's what's more important at that age. It's not your stats. So people are too focused on how many goals he scored and not enough on his performances.
And it's not even his ability. The other players will kill him. When he came on, and he was doing runs in behind, he made a couple good runs.
Yeah.
Ghana completely ignored him. This is what will happen when you start him, and this is what I'm scared of. He does the correct things, and people just ignore him like he's Casper the Ghost. That eventually is going to take a hit on his confidence. And then when he's playing dead, United fans are going to be like, waste of time, overhyped, blah, blah, blah. Then there's a snowball effect. I'm saying to avoid that, just bring him on for the last 20, 15 minutes of the game. And then United fans can't really get on his back because it's like, would you expect him to do anyway? You only bring him on towards the end of the game. So it's like you're kind of protecting him in a way. That's what you should be doing for a young player. Not starting him to try and hope he can do the game. No. Why am I spending 75 million pounds for? That's ridiculous. Come on.
No, I agree.
Oh.
Okay. So tomorrow, similar team really it's gonna be. I think.
Good God.
Yeah.
I think Mazraoui. Do we have news on Mazraoui? Is he fit? Because he looks a bit hurt at the end.
The manager didn't say anything. To be fair.
Okay.
So I'm guessing he'll still be.
No, he said. I listened. He said it's no new injuries or no players.
Okay.
No players coming back. No new injuries.
Okay.
Who started ahead of Garnacho against Everton? Garnacho didn't start that game, did he? Or did he?
No, he didn't start.
No,
he didn't.
No, it was Ugarte and Casemiro and Bruno on the left. Or on the right.
On the left. Okay. Is Eriksen fit?
Apparently, he was pissed as he was not happy, Garnacho, that he wasn't starting.
Yeah, but Garnacho needs to be anyway.
Ashella,
We should have sold him.
we talked about this Garnacho thing. I'm going to hold you responsible.
He's too arrogant. He's too arrogant, this guy.
Oh my God,
bro.
this kid.
He thinks he made it, bro. He thinks he made it, and he's.
He priced
He has
himself out. Yeah.
He's got a professional photographer following him everywhere.
Oh my days! God give me strength.
Like it's got to his head, bro. He's got to his head.
Exactly. But
I kind of get that though because that's what they do now. They just have
man.
anyway.
You're a 19-year-old.
All footballers.
Stay humble, cuz. Stay humble, Saeed. Stay humble.
Listen, they do this a lot of footballers.
Are you gonna get one, Saeed?
Have the same energy for Rashford, please. Have the same energy for Rashford.
Everyone does it though, to be fair. I think a lot of but my thing is, Ange, are you worried about tomorrow? Are you worried? Are you think we'll get a result tomorrow?
I'm worried about every game, bro.
Bro, I'm looking at Southampton.
You know what I'll be looking for? How do we perform in the first half? That's when they're following Amorim's instructions. So in the first 30 minutes, are we aggressive? Are we playing with a little bit of freedom? You've got to follow the instructions, but you've got to also play with instinct. If you don't play with instinct, then you lose half your ability. So in the first half, that's what I'm going to look for. That will tell me, is Amorim's training, coaching working? In the first half, how do we perform? If we perform like we did against Everton or like every other game, then another big worry. I'm coming looking for you, Brian. There's no one else I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to be looking for you, Brian.
Listen, I've made up my mind that I'm going to give him until he gets his players. So I have no problem with anybody coming out and saying he's terrible coach, sack him, he's horrible. If that's what you want to do, fine. But I'm of the belief that this team needs to go through this pain and actually establish a way of playing. And we need quality players. Either we under Amorim or the next guy that's going to come in, we're going to do the same thing. Right? He might get a little bit more performance squeeze, a little bit more juice, but we're not going to be a top 4 team. We're not going to be a top 6 team. We're not going to be a top 8 team. So you're right now, people are crashing out over being maybe 11th or 12th. That's what people are crashing. Just so people understand, that's what you're crashing out over. And to me, that doesn't make much sense because if you don't have the players, you don't have the players, and it's going to show on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Last super chat. Let's read the super chat before we wrap up. RTM says everyone didn't want Colin Wiley. Look at him now. 7 of Palace's team tonight walking to United 11. Just waffling. How do you feel about Dorgu so far? Good profiling. And Donna just said, do you not feel like this year is a year
shift?
Paradigm shift. We are no longer United top tier club, but mid-table Manchester United. Big up to you lot for the super chat.
We're bottom 6. I wish we were mid-table.
Yeah.
We're bottom 6 guys.
I think we've got 2 winnable games coming up. That's it, really. Tomorrow's game, and Leicester are probably the 2 most winnable games. Apart from that, it's going to be a lot of losses this season, man. Towards the end, man, we could be not even hitting 40 points this season, man, which is crazy.
I really want to see United play Amorim, especially in preseason, biasly because I probably see them here in the States.
Yeah.
You know? So very interesting.
Yeah.
I want to see them.
Are you going to go to the preseason games?
Yeah, if I can, I would like to see them play physically with my eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Brian, you look at our preseason. Apparently, we're doing what Newcastle done. We're going to be flying to Asia and playing in America. That also takes an effect on training schedule and bro. If we don't
it's stupid, but
of Ten Hag.
We're doing a trip straight after the season finishes. So the way they're doing it is we're going Asia like days after the season finishes, and then the players go on holiday, and then when we come back, they're going to America.
All right, that's terrible, man.
That's crazy.
Well, it's going to make them £10 million. It's going to make them
10 million. No,
it's going to make them 10 million.
As long as they use it to buy Cunha, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, but with that schedule, you're going to injure a player, and then you have to go and buy another one.
Exactly.
Go get me some
if
players.
it's crazy how like soccer players, like if you follow other sports, NFL players, they get 6 months off between games.
Yeah.
NBA players, they get 4. Yeah, so NFL players get 6 months off between games. NFL players get NBA players get about 4 months off. In Australia, AFL players get 6 months. Whereas in soccer now they're doing the Club World Cup competitions. You know, the Club World Cup. So you don't even get more 2 weeks max.
And the NHL, same thing. The NHL season doesn't start
we might need to just clean pick all the free transfers that we can just to build up our squad, because we don't even have free. Ugarte is probably the only central midfielder we might have. Our squad is terrible. We might need to just, bro. We don't have.
If you guys get injured, if you guys gets injured, we're done.
Bruno and Casemiro in midfield.
Because you don't want to expect too much from Collier. I like what I saw, but still, he's a young player.
Is he injured? Is he fit?
Yeah.
I think he should be coming back soon, but I don't know. Yeah.
If he's back, I would love to see him play with Ugarte.
Yeah, but that's the best lineup, I think.
Brian, that Kone brother, I've watched him a couple times now. I'm telling you, out of all the youngers that I've seen, he's impressed me the most.
Come on. Finally, something you're positive about, isn't it?
Who is this guy?
Who? Collier?
17 years old.
No, the Kone. The one that you're talking about.
Mali International.
And go watch.
Oh, the one we signed. Are you talking about the one we signed?
Yeah. Go watch a couple of his games.
Oh, yes. No, I know him.
That to a the way he received the back line.
Yeah.
He's got vision. You know what's crazy about him? He's got vision. He's got great vision. He's got great vision. Something Manu doesn't have. You can see he's got an eye for a pass. Man.
Yeah, he has. But listen, people, we're going to wrap it up here, man. It's been a good show, man. Big up to everyone who's locked in right now. We'll be back tomorrow for the watch-along, and then hopefully 3 points. And then, man, we'll see what this United team's about, man. We'll see indeed. Make sure you don't hit the like button on the video, people, man. Let's get these likes up, man. That'll be amazing, man. The likes are very low at the minute, so please hit the like button. Big up to Brian, big up to Strella, big up to Ange, big up to Adam. Thank you all for your time, brothers, man.
Pleasure as always, my bro.
No problem, Saeed. Anytime.
Yeah, man. Big
Take
up,
care,
man.
boys.
We weren't here last week on Tuesday, but we're here back, man. So big up to everyone locked in. Hopefully, like I said, next 2 games, we win them games and then we go into, you know what I mean? I think it's a tough run of fixtures after that, man. So let's see, man. Let's see if we can build a little bit of momentum. I always say, man, 2-game challenge, man. Can these lot do a 2-game challenge, man? I don't know. We'll see, guys. But guys, take care, man. We'll see you lot next week. Take care. Peace.